We're here, ladies. We are here. We're ready to rock and roll. Day number 2. And this is where things start to take it up a notch. So we are here for day 2 of the 4-day fat loss accelerator. And as you guys know, we're going to go all in on today's topic. So if you are here with me live, comment live below. And if you watch this on replay, comment replay so that I know that you guys caught it later in the day. This is where things happen. This is where things happen. And I'm excited to dive into today's topic because this is all things training. All things training. And we're going to be busting some myths. We're going to be talking about busting myths. We're going to be talking about what we should be doing in the gym. We're going to talk a little bit about like stress hormones and what's happening potentially in perimenopause. All kinds of great things. So yes, and yes. You don't need more workouts. You need a strategy that is going to shape your body. And it's fun because all of the things that you guys said on your forms were some one, we've got fat loss focused, but also discussing around all of the I'm already working out, but not seeing results. And we are going to unpack that today. So I'm excited you're here. Before we jump in, what is a win that you were celebrating? What is a win that you were celebrating? I want you to drop it in the comments. Something that you are celebrating today. It could be anything. It could be anything. It could be workout related. It could be nutrition related. It could be mindset related. What is a win that we were celebrating? I want you to drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat so I can read some of those topics. Cannot wait to read those. Where are you guys at? Oh, yay. Hi, Jamie. All kinds of good stuff. So drop your wins in the chat. Can't wait to unpack those and read those and celebrate you guys. That's the best part about what I do. Celebrating y'all. All right. So if you've heard if you're here, you're not struggling with doing the work. Okay. What I mean by doing the work, that's doing the workouts, right? You're struggling with seeing the results. We want our body to respond. Okay. And so if you've been working out, checking the boxes, oh, I'm doing a workout, check box, because a lot of you are action takers here in this container. And I know that you're a high performer, and check boxes are your like bestie. Okay. But if your body isn't looking any different, it can be frustrating when you're someone who performs at a high level and are used to the wins being everywhere else, right? It's like, okay, you're already a high performer. You succeed over here. Like, okay, lead this group over here. And again, a lot of you guys lead a couple of different stuff. Sometimes it's at church. Sometimes it's at the PTA, like all kinds of stuff. And so what is frustrating is when you're already doing so good in so many areas, why is it not resulting in your body composition? So lead teams, manage homes. You carry a hardcore mental load here, yet your workouts are not leading you anywhere. That's so frustrating. So my goal in today's training is to help you understand why the effort that you are putting into your workouts is not translating into results. And we're going to talk about how you can fix this with a strategy and structure and science. Yes, and yes, which is my favorite stuff to talk about. Okay, especially, I've been training since 2011. I've been working with clients since 2011. That's the longest thing of time. I'm not even going to add up the years, but and before that, I coached gymnasts and cheerleaders for years. I've been coaching since I was 16, 15 years old. I've been coaching in some capacity. So when we talk about body composition and changing and getting better and having a foundation that you can build upon, I've been doing it since I was 15 years old. So we're going to talk about what are those things. And I also want to say some of the things that I did in my own experience when I first started training. I thought more was better. And I shared a little bit about that yesterday. I thought more was better. And a lot of my clients come in doing more classes, more cardio, spending more time in the gym. But I know for me, I was constantly still inflamed, still tired, still like mentally and my body wasn't compositionally changing. I'm like, how am I working out so much? And yet I don't even look like I work out. I was athletic, but I didn't look like I was working out. And it was kind of annoying. I'm like, I want to be like this buff girl that people know that I work out. I'm like, I work out. Because you know what's crazy is psychologically, when you look like you work out, you are more respected. It is statistically proven. So if you look like you work out, You are more respected when you walk into a room. It's bottom line, which is crazy, but it's true. And so the same pattern that I was doing, that I see in a lot of the women that come into my program, is they're like, I'm working out all the time, or you're already wired to push. But you cannot outwork a system that is built on stress. You cannot outwork that system. You need to dial it in and making sure that you are following a strategy and a structure that tells your body what you want it to do with the effort that you're putting in. Okay? And so I know the hardest shift for me went from like watching this and this. I took 9 months off my Apple Watch because I was like, I am so sick of trying to be connected to what this thing is telling me to do, and like all the data and all the things, which I love data. Okay. But I shifted from getting those rings closed, burning all the calories, and focused on being stronger, building strength. And guess what happened? Okay. I was training less. Like I didn't have to work as hard. And I was more intentional with the movements. I had a mind body connection. So then I wasn't just like fatigued the whole workout and tired and my body heart rate going like this. But my body composition started changing and my energy started shifting. And I finally felt like workouts were compounding instead of just like consuming me, instead of me just like being there and like going all or nothing in the workout. I felt like my workouts were actually taking me somewhere. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So give me a yes in the chat if this sounds like anything that you're relating to right now. Drop me a yes if anything I said is relating. Okay? Drop a yes if you're ready to rock and roll and unpack. Okay, so we're going to talk about number one, strategy over sweating more. Because sweat does not mean effort. Soreness does not mean it was a good workout. Okay, those are byproducts. We don't need to dive into what those mean, but we want to be following strategy in anything that we're doing. Okay, so the body doesn't respond to just effort, it responds to it being stimulated. Okay, so if every workout that you're doing is random, okay, following a random YouTube video, picking something randomly off the Peloton app, following a random app, okay, your body is never going to adapt. If you're in classes, random classes taught by Sally Sue one day and Billy Bob the next day, those are random. They're not following any strategy, okay? And if your workout is random, your body isn't going to adapt to what it's doing. So you need to have, when you're training, you need to have a progressive program that you're following, meaning you're increasing your resistance, you're increasing the load, which is the amount of weight that you're using, or the control. So this could be like tempo, or how slow you're doing it, or how fast you're doing it. And your muscles are going to adapt over time, okay? And when your muscles are adapting, your metabolism spikes up, it accelerates, and then your body composition will change. Because what happens is you want more muscle on your body. Yes, yes, and yes, more muscle. The more muscle that you have, the more energy you're going to burn, and the more fat loss that you will see. Give me a head nod if you're following with me. I know I can't see y'all, but head nod. Yes. Okay, that's what we want to do. And so in order to do that, it's called progressive overload. It's not about lifting heavy every single time and hitting PRs all the time. It's not about heavy lifting every single time. It's about a consistent challenge over time. So this is one, you have to have a progressive overload, and then you're going to be working in this thing called hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is how you get this muscle to a fatigued amount. This is the challenge part I'm talking about here, is the muscle is, you have to break it down and you have to put it through enough restraint and tension to make those muscle fibers break down. Okay, that's a challenge. That's you challenging that muscle. So, but what happens is most women are chasing, oh, I'm sore, or oh, I didn't get enough, my heart rate up enough, or oh, I'm not fatigued enough. All right, so they're chasing that, not necessarily progress. And so then you leave the gym just sweating it out, not really developing any muscle growth, and you feel like, oh, I got a great workout, but you're ultimately not really changing anything. You're just getting a great workout in. And I will always say, movement is better than no movement. And I would much rather people in life be moving. Yes. But when we're talking about fat loss and we're talking about getting our body composition to change, you have to do it a certain way. It's not random. It's not get in more calories burned. Okay. It's not feeling like you got a great workout. No, it's not those things. Okay. You have to follow the strategy. Okay. And so what we need to do here. So muscle is going to burn 3 times more calories at rest than the fat. Okay. Let me say that again. Muscle is going to burn 3 times more calories at rest than fat tissue. So what do you think we need to do? If it's burning more calories than the fat, what do we need to have more of on our body? Do we need more fat on our body, or do we need more muscle? You're right, muscle. We need more muscle on our body in order to burn more calories at rest. At rest. Because here's what's cool about having more muscle on your body is I could be sitting on the couch, hanging out with my kids, watching a movie, and my body's burning calories at a higher rate because I have more muscle on my body. Okay. The goal isn't always smaller. It's putting on, we want to get stronger so that we're burning more so that we could drop the body fat. Because we all know the more body fat you have on your body, it is not healthy. It is not healthy. I'm just going to be point blank here. Okay. And it's not necessarily like weight off the scale. Sometimes it's we want to drop the body fat and keep the muscle. So it's sometimes that scale is just who cares what that says, right? There's a certain point where it's like, okay, like for me, I could sit at 120, 125 and look wildly different depending on how my muscle is at that point. Okay. I should have had a photo for you guys. But there's basically you could weigh the same amount on that scale, but having 2 different looks. And so that's really a long game when you're putting on muscle mass for all of this. Okay. So if you're ready to start shifting, I want you to just put in strategy in the chat right now. Type strategy because we're going to go over what the frameworks would look like. Okay. Type strategy in the chat if you're ready to like unpack it, what we need to do from here. Love it. Yay. Maria, so glad you're here. Y'all, Maria just joined the coaching program. She's going to be dialed in. So excited for you, Maria. Okay. Let's do it. So let's talk about what the frameworks would look like. Like, how do we do this? Now that Chase, okay, great. I'm so glad you shared with me that we need to lift and we need to progressively lift and we need to break down the muscles and put on more muscle mass. Great. Okay, we need to do all those things. You are correct. Now let's talk about how do we do this. Okay. This is a framework I want you guys to, you can write some of this stuff down. So make sure you guys are typing it in the chat so that you know that you can unpack it. Okay. All right, let's talk about what we would build here. Number 1 is compound movements. This is your foundation of any type of workout. Okay. Your compound movements. These are movements that are going to be working multiple groups at a time. Okay. Or multiple muscles at a time. Sorry. Came out weird. Okay. This is, there's 5 pivotal movements here. You've got your squat, hinge movement, lunge, squat, hinge, lunge, push, and a pull. Okay. 5 things that you need to have in, if you're doing full body workout, great. Okay. If you're doing lower body, you need to have the 3 lowers that I said, or the 2 lowers, and work on those spaces. Either way, these are the 5. These are the ones we want to pay attention to. Sometimes I've seen some random stuff on the Instagram where they're just doing some like really cool looking movement, which is fun. But like when we're looking for fat loss, we need to stick to these 5 movements. I'm going to say it again. Squat, hinge, lunge, push, pull. Pushing, pulling. Okay? You guys know a squat, you know a lunge. Hinging is where you bend, right? All hamstring work. Okay? So these are going to be pulling in multiple muscles, and they're going to trigger that hormonal response where we want it to break down those muscles and reshape your body faster. Okay, so these are the ones I want you to stick to. Compound movements, that's number 1. Number 2, progressive overload, which I kind of talked about this earlier. This is how we train for fat loss, guys. This is how we train for fat loss. Progressive overload. So when you pick these movements, let's say we pick a squat, and you need to keep it the same movement. So don't be like this version of a squat and this version of a squat and this version of a squat, because you know there's 50 million different types of ways that you could do a squat. Okay? I want you to pick one way to do that movement. And then you're going to repeat it weekly. You should be hitting that same muscle group at least twice a week. Okay? Twice a week. But on that movement, when you do that squat, let's just say you did that squat on Monday, do it again that next Monday. Do it again the next Monday. It needs to stay the same for at least 4, 6, 8 weeks. It stays the same, and then you do a variation. Okay, I'm getting really technical on you guys for today. Okay, I'm going all in. So that squat doesn't change. So maybe it's a whatever type of squat you picked, you do not change or deviate from it. And what you want to do is, as you're repeating it every single week, you want to get really good at doing it. And then you're going to track how well you do it. Okay, track how many reps you did. Track the intensity that you used, the weights that you used, the load. Okay, so you're going to track it. If you are not tracking it, you are just throwing things out like spaghetti and hoping it's going to work. Okay, you've got to track it, because if you don't know what load you did the first week, you're not going to improve the next week. And you might have even went lighter. We don't want to do that. Okay, so you want to make sure that as you are repeating this every single week, that you are also making sure that you are tracking the reps and tracking the weight. Okay, because the more data that you have, the more progress that you can make, because you cannot make a decision without any data, right? Right. Y'all comment data. Comment data, because I want you to track. You have to track on what you're doing. Comment data. I need that one to land. All right. And then number 3 is going to be recovery. Recovery. Okay. Recovery isn't just like you being lazy. It's part of the strategy. Okay, because what's going to happen is your muscles are going to adapt, and they're going to be broken down. And especially when you guys are lifting heavier weights on, let's just say that squat that we were talking about, it needs time to rebuild. 24 to 48 hours, you need to rebuild the muscles on that you just broke down. And if you are going and hitting a full body workout 6 days a week, you are having no recovery time, not allowing your body to chill out, not allowing your body to replenish. You're basically overtraining, and you're teaching your body to be on survival mode and not to progress. And most women, 30s and 40s, are under recovering by like 40%. Let me say that again. Most women in their 30s to 40s are under recovering by 30% or 40%. Okay, this is why your body feels puffy. Even when you know you're working, you feel inflamed, you feel unfit, you feel fatigued. That puffiness, that fatigue, yeah, stop it. One, it could be stress related as well, stress related or overtraining, and you're not allowing your body to recover. Okay, love it. All right, biggest takeaway. What is hitting for home right now? Drop it in the chat. What is hitting home? I want you guys to leave these trainings not just like, oh, got information. Okay, we don't want to just get information. We want to do something with the information. Okay, so what is something that's landing with you right now that you're like, that hit home, I need to implement that right now? Okay, drop it in the chat right now. What is something that we've already explained of those 3 things that we just talked about? The compound movements, those are the 5. Progressive overload, how we're going to overload, how we're going to track it, right? Because y'all wrote data, and then how we're going to recover. So what is something that hit home for you? I want you to put it in the chat. All right. And then Ashley said, how many days per week should you be working out? It depends on your goals. It depends on how long. Here's what I tell my clients. I want you to show up. I want you to show up. So if you're doing 6 days a week, if you want to work out 6 days a week, you just need a plan that fits 6 days a week. It's not legs every 6 days. Or if it's 5 days a week, there is no I don't think there's a one room answer for how many days, because every client is different. Some of my clients do not have the space to do 6 days. Some of my clients hey, we're hitting 3 days and we have a full body every single time. So it really just depends, to answer your question, Ashley. It depends on your goals. It depends on your schedule. It depends on how much you can show up, and it depends on your consistency. So I'm not going to give a brand new client 5 days a week when they haven't shown up for 3 days in a row for 2 months straight. Like if you can't show up for 2 months at 3 days, I'm for sure as heck not going to give you 5 days. Does that make sense? So I think that kind of, hopefully that answers our question. Okay, so let's kind of switch into talking a little bit more about the hormones, the stress, the metabolic part of things that are going on. And I'll kind of close it up with this because, again, in our 30s and 40s, things are changing. Towards later 30s, things start changing. Okay, this is where science and life like kind of come together. And I still believe like we are doing a lot of learning in this space because here in the probably the last maybe 5 years, it's starting to be more of the conversation on what's happening in perimenopause, premenopause, menopause, all those kind of good things. But your body change. I love this part about being a woman is that we get to learn so many different things. We get to go through, like, if you think about this cycle of how our body changes, we get to relearn stuff all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's new stuff going on in my body. Yes. What a great opportunity for me to grow some more. Like, I love that. And as the years go on, there's just something else that's different. So over the decades, once you hit your 30s, you peak in your 30s. So what starts to happen is you start to decline in muscle, like your muscle and bone density starts to decline 8% every 10 years. Okay, so this is basically what happens. 8%, it's dropping, it's dropping, it's dropping, it's dropping, unless you are doing something that is helping it revert. Unless you are strength training, unless you are doing resistance training, unless you are putting on muscle mass. Because then it'll go down, but here's version 1 that's not someone that's working out, they're going down like this. Okay, that 8% every decade. You're going down like this. Right? Because I don't even know, I was way over here. Hopefully that was in the camera. Okay? So what we want to happen is what we want is to be putting on muscle mass so that we can stay active longer. Okay? Because in your 30s and 40s, your estrogen, your cortisol, your insulin sensitivity, everything starts shifting unless you are proactive. Okay? What that means is going to your hardcore HIIT classes, raising your cortisol levels, not okay. If you're going out there and sprinting all the time, raising your cortisol levels, not okay. Too much cardio, right? Just banging it out increases your fatigue on your body, okay? And if you're not putting on that muscle mass, your metabolism is going to slow down, okay? Why most women are like, oh, well, I just don't know what happened. Don't know what happened. I don't know why my body's not responding the way it used to. I'm like, well, how's your activity level the way it was 10 years ago? Oh, yeah. We're not doing what we used to do 10 years ago, right? Not only that, you have higher stress. You're not moving as much, and then you're not putting on any more muscle mass. So if you're not putting on muscle mass, of course your metabolism is going to slow down because it's not using any energy. So you can't train the way you did at 25 and expect the same results at 40 because your body's different. Your hormones are different. The demand on your body's different. The things you do in life are different. The mental load, the stress that you carry is different. So you cannot expect. That's why I get so annoyed with like all the fit influencers right now, because like I'm like they don't know what's happening in your body at 40. They don't know what it's like to train or to keep consistent with 4 or 5 kids running around, 3 kids, 2 kids, 1 kid. Doesn't even matter. A child. It is a different load. Okay. So your hormones need recovery. They need resistance training. They need a rhythm. Okay. And that's why like the high performing clients that I have and that bring on to my coaching programs, they're only training anywhere from 3 to 4 times a week max. And they're getting baller results. I don't know why I said baller. Well, that's not even part of my terminology, but it just came out. They're getting results only 3 or 4 times a week doing a workout because they're in alignment with what's going on with their body at the time of life that they're in. Okay, so here's my takeaways for you guys today. You need to build lean muscle. You need to build lean muscle. And you do that by implementing those things that I shared with you guys earlier. Whatever. What were there were 3 things. compound movements, progressive overload, and recover. Those things need to be part of your lifting strategy or part of your workout strategy, workout frameworks. Okay. You need to build lean muscle. You need to make sure you do have some stabilized blood sugars, right? And you can balance your hormones naturally. It's not necessarily like you have to go get support. No, how about we do the things first and see how your body responds, which is actually a conversation I just had with a client. She's like in a place where she was like, I think I'm gonna have to, my doctor was saying, like, I think I have to get on some support. And I was like, no, how about we try this for the next 8 to 10 weeks, see how your body responds. Then we can talk about it. She's like, you're right. I'm like, yeah, let's put in some effort. Put in some effort naturally. See what happens. Then when you start aligning all of these action steps, your fat loss will compound. I promise you. I promise you. Might take a second to get started, but man, if you keep it up, it's like bam, 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 fat loss. And that's what we want. We want to be in a better, healthier space. All right. Comment value if this hit home for you today. Comment value. Now, hopefully that you took away, you don't need more workouts. You need to be following some type of strategy, structure, progression, recovery that is going to respect your current lifestyle, okay? And how your body's naturally designed. God already designed you in a special way. Consistency doesn't come from doing everything, okay? It's coming from doing the exact things that are going to move the needle. All right, comment value. Love it, love it, love it. So if you're in a space right now where you're like, Chase, all right, what does this look like? I need to talk about my goals. We need to set up a 20-minute call because I want to help you get clarity around what you need to be doing for your goals, for your system, your process. Okay? Because it's going to look different for every single one of you. Love it. Ashley, value, Nicole, value. Yes. Okay? So it's going to look different for every single one of you. And jumping into getting that support is where it starts. Right? So if you're interested in what that looks like, just message me and I'll get you guys the link so you guys can book that call. It'll take 20 minutes. I'll dial into your goals, what you need to do. And if you're interested, we can talk about what it looks like to work with me. But I don't work with everybody. Okay? There's specific people that will do the best in my programs. And it's strategic. Okay? But if you're ready to like take action in some of those things, like we can also talk about what that looks like. Proud of you guys. Hey, deep dive has already been posted. You guys can jump into the deep dive. That is going to cover deeper conversation on what we covered tonight. Right? So go find it in the chat or in the group where you guys can listen to the podcast episodes that are going to support you in that. And our winner, I'm about to drop that in the Facebook group from yesterday's winner. So I'm excited for that. All right, guys, I love y'all, and I will see you guys tomorrow where we're going to be talking about nutrition. Okay? All right. Bye, y'all.